Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Maino, Jermaine, you said you wanted to bring the streets back. Well, it's starting to look like the streets is back, Maino. It's safe to say it ain't safe outside.
Terrifying moment at Hilltop Playground. This is out in Brooklyn. All happened last night. Gunfire rang out, striking 2 young girls.
Yeah, those little girls were not the intended target. They are expected to be okay, but police are still looking for the gunman responsible. Good Day's Briella Tomasetti. She is live at that playground in Brownsville with the latest on this investigation.
The news said that the kids was at the wrong place at the wrong time. But the crazy part about it is the kids was at the playground. So my question is, was the kids at the wrong place at the wrong time, or was the shooters at the wrong place at the wrong time? It's safe to say it ain't safe outside.
Shani and Dan, good morning to both of you. Those 2 victims, those young little girls, were shot here on this playground. Thankfully, they are conscious and alert this morning. But as you mentioned, police say 2 gunmen are still at large, and they were seemingly looking for someone else. A barrage of gunfire rang out on a Brooklyn street last night, leaving 2 innocent children, just 9 and 11 years old, injured. Police say it happened just after 9 o'clock at a playground near Dean Street and Saratoga Avenue in Brownsville. The young girls were playing as one of their mothers watched from a park bench when they suddenly got caught in the crossfire.
A preliminary investigation reveals that there were possibly 2 shooters that fired at least 6 rounds in the direction the children were playing.
The 9-year-old was shot in the leg and the 11-year-old was shot in the back. Both were taken to Brookdale Hospital by family members to be treated for their injuries. The younger victim was later transported to Maimonides Hospital. Both girls are in stable condition. Detectives say they were unintended targets who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But that's what you said, Maino, right? You wanted to bring the streets back. You even shaded the people that was in the house on computers, telling them to come outside. Well, Maino, they heard your voice. They came outside. And when they came outside, this is what happens. This is what happened.
Time.
So at this time, we're exploring multiple avenues of possible motives for this type of incident, but we're not going to rule out gang-related incidents that are problematic to this particular area in Brooklyn.
The double shooting comes amid a troubling trend of children falling victim to growing youth violence. Yesterday, we learned that a 12-year-old boy was arrested in connection with the death of 14-year-old Josiah Guy, who was shot and killed in an apartment in Brownsville on Sunday morning. He was charged with manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and criminal possession of a weapon. Police have not detailed the circumstances surrounding the shooting, but the New York Post has reported that the suspect is believed to be the victim's younger cousin. Some who live in the neighborhood, now plagued by at least 2 violent shootings in 1 week, are calling for more NYPD supervision.
I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm hurt because there's local children that are in this park all the time. We want preventive. We're looking for preventive so this don't happen.
Yeah, and here's something I want to point out now that it's light out and you can see more of the playground. Police mentioned during yesterday's press conference that these pairs of shoes, these Crocs, were left behind on the playground here as those kids, those children ran away for safety when they heard those gunshots. And as you probably heard during those remarks yesterday, police haven't identified a motive, but they are investigating whether this shooting is gang-related. Sources told the New York Post that the shooters were both seen riding scooters. For now, though, we're live here in Brownsville. Dan, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Briella, thank you very much. Still searching for those suspects in that shooting out in Brownsville, Brooklyn.
You didn't use your muscle to make sure that the goons outside wasn't going to air out the babies. See, it brings me back when I was sitting down doing my video some years back with Lucky Dawn. And he asked me, he said, "Yo, Haas, who do you think you are? The vigilante blogger?" Yo, Luck, I think you was on to something. I am the vigilante blogger. And see, everybody always bragging about who's real and who's not and keeping it real. But how real is this? when you got grown men seeing babies getting aired out from different sections in Brooklyn, and 2 or 3 days in a row. It's safe to say it ain't safe outside. So now that Maino convinced these little kids to come outside, you gonna get quiet when they on their way to the hospital? What is that, the Brooklyn way? You know, watching Lisa Evers get up with NYPD and the FBI 5 o'clock in the morning, it shakes and bothers my soul. To see these young kids carted away, going to jail for decades. But as a grown man, as a father, as a civilian, not as a real nigga, but as a civilian, at some point and at some time, I realized that us grown men have to take a stand, and us grown men have to learn how to be chiefs and leaders of the village and let that street bull crap go. Because the reality of it is, a choice has to be made and a line has to be drawn. Will our babies become a casualty of war because our babies is killing babies? See how we became the pandemic within the pandemic, and we still are the pandemic after the pandemic? Even the streets is tired of the streets. Stop letting these rappers convince you to go outside when it ain't safe to be outside. The playground, the parks, is supposed to be the safest place on this planet. It's supposed to be a neutral ground for our babies to go outside so that they can escape the stresses that go on inside their house. Whether it be the R. Kelly of an uncle that's in their living room, or the abusive stepfather, or the abused mother. When those kids go outside to play, it's supposed to be safe for them. The playground where our children play is supposed to be safer than the airport, but it's not. But like you said, Maino, you want to bring the streets back. Then you antagonize the kids and you tell them to go outside when you know it's not safe in those Brooklyn streets. I'm starting to think, who sent you? CIA, FBI, DEA, or you just sent by Satan? Because I don't see you sending your son in the danger zone. I told you before, drop him off in the Bronx to see if he make it with his pretty ass. Y'all hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. I'm out.